Okay, thank you, Mr. Jefferson.
You're very welcome. And so there was one person, just took one person to shift everything in the lifetime of the generation of my family, right? So after I was able to go off to university and college, then my older brother, who was working a job, who had never gone to college, decided to quit his job, and he was 28 years old, come up to live with me. And then he ended up playing football at a local junior college. And then he ended up getting a scholarship. And then my younger brother, seeing us going through this, we were the first ones in our family to ever go off to school and do this, all because Miss Nelson, there was some person that just said something that made sense. And the reason why it made sense is because she tapped into my emotion, me as a human, and something that I wasn't prepared for. And so we lean on our educators and those that are inside the classroom with our children. And now, being a father and having 3 kids, we lean on them, but at the same time being engaged, just like all of y'all are engaged in this. And so what I want to share is that you're winning. Like, we're winning. There are many people that have been invited, but many did not show up for whatever the reasons are. However, you are winning for your children and also for the future of your children. And your family goes much further than that, much deeper than that. For fixed mindset folks, it's like making an effort seems pointless. Like, why am I going to do that for? Nothing's going to happen. And they just give up. When we fail, we see it as the limit of our abilities. Like, oh, I'm always messing up. I'm not good at math. No, you're not good at math. Not yet. It just takes some time. And that time and patience is something that we need to be out there, talking to our young people about. And then also, it's just giving up easily. And I'm sure we can see some of these things in the fixed mindset that most of us have. And I'll tell you, I didn't understand it. I didn't realize how much I had it until I learned about this framework. And then it began to help shift me. So now that you're learning about it, now you know that something exists. Now, folks with a growth mindset, people that think differently, they see challenges as an opportunity. I'm up against this. All of us, we're all up against, not just with our children, just with the world. We're up against things. Now, we can fold, or we can say, hey, okay, here's a challenge I'm ready for. And, this is an opportunity. Like COVID, it was an opportunity for a lot of us to see how we can push through that. And hopefully many of us are making our way through these past couple of years. Acknowledging and embracing our weaknesses, knowing what we're not good at, so that we can then say, okay, I'm not good at that. What do I need to do to either strengthen that? Or how can I find some support in order to help me strengthen that? Learns from constructive criticism, being able to take feedback. When people are able to say, hey, here's a situation, this is what I think, and this is where I think you are contributing to whatever the situation is. Notice I didn't say problem, I said situation, because there are no problems in the world. You can make that shift. There are only situations, and with situations, there's an opportunity to grow. We're willing to make mistakes and learn from them. We know that mistakes are just right around the corner. Once you push through a challenge and it's hard and you're just stuck against that challenge, whatever it is, when you get through that, guess what you're walking into? Another challenge. And when you push through that, you're walking through another one. You're walking to another one. So many times people fold and they just stop at that challenge, and then we just give up and we sit in that fixed mindset arena. When in fact, we push through that, and the more we push through challenges, it's just like getting over a hurdle. You just get over a hurdle, get over the next one, and then you just finish the race. Next thing you know, you're a pretty darn good hurdle runner. People better watch out for you because you know how to move it. When you see a challenge coming your way, you know that there's something that's there that you just have to find in order to push through. And a lot of that is just through support. Realize that we're never alone. We may feel alone, but we're not. No one that has done anything of substance has ever done it alone. No one has done anything alone of substance that's really created some success for themselves in their lives. You're inspired by the success of others. You see other people being successful, then that's where you're like, well, if they did it, I could do it too. I'm not saying be in the NBA, or if somebody's made it to the NBA, you can make the NBA. Know your limitations. Know the things that you're good at. Know what your weaknesses are, right? And then find the support in order to get to that place. And it's understanding where it is you want to go. Persist in the face of setbacks. These are just formulas that are out there. And I can almost guarantee that most folks here on this call would agree that if you see a challenge as an opportunity, if you acknowledge your weaknesses and embrace your weaknesses, if you learn from criticism, if you're willing to make mistakes, if you're inspired by the success of others, if you persist in the face of setback, you know those things are a formula to get you to where you want to be. And we have to let our young people understand that too. And we practice that along with them. We can practice our jump shot with them and get better at whatever it is that we're doing. We can practice cooking with them and get better at what we're doing. We don't have to be the professional. We don't have to be the know-it-all. There's a great quote. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're probably in the wrong room. You want to surround yourself around people that have something that you can get, something you can access in order to be able to get to where it is that you want to go. When people believe that they can get better, when people believe that they can do it, when they believe that they can do something, then they'll understand that it's going to take effort. But they have to believe that they can do it. And that's the thing. And that's the call to action for us. We have to get our young people to believe in themselves. They are so resilient. They have gone through so much. We have gone through so much. We're just at that phase in our lives where our parents said, well, just wait until you have kids of your own. You'll understand what I'm talking about. And now we're here. That doesn't mean that we just shut down and then not do something different. We want to do something different that we wish our folks understood. If they had just done something different at this time, it may have helped me. Well, this is our call, is to do something different. And the different thing is just switching our mindset a little bit and being okay with modeling that with our young people and our children. There are 3 things that I think are very, very important to any group coming together, any people influencing each other, anyone trying to find success. These are 3 things, okay? First is safety. Now, this goes back to a framework of a guy named Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? And Maslow, what he had done, this guy was way back, way back in the day that they were studying humans, and they still use it to this day in every single university, every single company. This is what people are trying to understand, like we have to create. So safety. If people don't feel safe, then they will not engage. If you don't feel safe, it doesn't matter how important the thing is, you will not engage. Imagine your hand going into a glass container and you're reaching for a stack of $10,000, right? And all you got to do is just pull it out. Put your hand in a glass container, $10,000, and pull it out. Well, they didn't tell you that once you stick your hand in, they're going to release venomous cobras, tarantulas, and all sorts of scary things inside that case. And you have to get it out before they get you. Most likely, you're going to rip your hand out and you're not going to care about that $10,000. It's not worth your time. It's not worth your life. It's not worth, if we're on this call right now and an earthquake happened in California and things are shaking, you're going to go and run for safety. It doesn't matter what's at risk. Safety is important. And it's not just physical safety, it's also emotionally safety. If the people that we're with don't feel emotional safe, like they can't share something with you, or they don't feel like they can be honest with you, or they don't trust that you're going to be there with empathy and understand, like, hey, I can't imagine what you're going through, but just let you know that I'm here. And anytime you're here, I'm willing to talk to you about it. You can always reach out to me. If they can't feel that, if people don't feel safe, they're not going to engage or nearly reach their potential. The next is support. It's not only feeling supported, people have to be comfortable asking for support. Hey, I need help with this. If people don't feel comfortable asking for support from you or for some person, then they're not going to show up in what they call their self-actualization self, their full potential. So it's safety, make them feel safe in some way, physical and emotional. Support, making them feel supported, like they really feel like you're there for them. You may not see the result. It may sound the same because we're on the higher plane. We got the information. Our young people don't. We got the information. So we have to play that higher level of understanding, right? And making them feel like they're able to ask for support. The last one is a sense of belonging. If they don't feel like they belong, if people don't feel like they belong someplace, then they're going to go out and hunt for where they feel like they belong. And usually when they go out, they're going to go to anyone who can make them feel safe, who in some way, shape, or form, makes them feel like they're supported because they're not being understood. And then they're going to feel like they belong there and they're going to thrive in that. Now I'm saying there's two roads. All of this stuff leads to positive result, negative result. This is why folks end up in the negative result, is because they feel safe, they feel supported, they feel like they belong. And as you think about what I'm saying, hopefully something's resonating. And it also holds true for positive result. If they feel safe, supported, and they feel like they belong, then they'll be able to do something. Picture this, an iceberg. And here's something that we look at when we look at people, when you see an iceberg, it's just what they're showing you is just on the top. What you see, what we know of our children and our kids and our coworkers, it's just what people are showing you. It's just what they choose to show you. But underneath that are a lot of the answers to what it is that we're seeing. On the top, if there's a behavior, like let's say on the tip of the iceberg, there's a behavior. Well, the behavior is not the iceberg. It's still an iceberg. It's still a human being. The behavior is the behavior. And oftentimes what we do is we can say that the behavior is the person. I see bad behavior, therefore I see a bad person. I see a behavior that's not truthful, so then we have a person that has no integrity, that's not truthful. And we have to understand that the behavior is not the person. The behavior is a symptom of things that are underneath that we need to dive beneath the surface to figure out, okay, well, what is it? And try to access what is it down there that's making you so upset and angry, or making you so mad. When you see someone that's angry it's not because of the thing that they did. Sometimes it's just spilling milk. And then we get angry. Why do we get angry at spilling milk? Think about the last time that you got angry. When you had a moment where you were just like, you were really upset. Was it the thing, or was there something else underneath that? And what it is what's underneath, we have to figure out and have a strategy on how to break it up, right? And this is something that was really valuable that helped me in what I'm saying. I'm sharing the good news because I'm not telling you anything that I'm not moving through in my life. I'm not here acting like I'm the one that is the know-it-all. What I want to do is I want to share some information, and hopefully it can resonate and it can stick with you. Anger is an emotion, okay? And when we get angry, we can break up that emotion coming from two places. So anger is the top of the iceberg, but underneath there are a lot of emotions. And usually where they come from, the emotions come from fear or sadness. When we get angry, if we can isolate which part of this is fear and which part of this is sadness. Here's an example. So tell my kids, every single day, before you head out of the house, before you go to school, make your bed. That's the first success of the day. I want you to be successful. So the first thing, just make your bed. That's all I'm asking you to do. Make sure your room is okay. And then you leave. When you come back, if you have the worst day, best case scenario, you have the worst day, at least you come back to a nice clean bed. Now, when they don't do that consistently, it makes me angry. Like, I get upset. Like, it's just one thing I asked you to do. And it's not really about the bed. It's not really about me telling them what to do, or really about me being in control. It's about me being afraid that they don't trust me, that they don't think that I know that I'm trying to protect them. And if they can't trust what I'm saying to them, or they can't trust what it is, then I'm afraid that they're going to go out into the world and I tell them something else and they're not going to hear me. Or it makes me sad. It makes me sad that they don't recognize how much I care for them. And they don't take my word as being something as valuable. It makes me feel lesser of a person, that even my children don't even respect me. When we're able to break them down into these categories, then when we go back to talk to them and say, hey, I know I was angry at the moment when y'all got home, but I want to sit down and I want to tell you, it makes me sad. But what do you mean, Dad? Well, it makes me sad that, it feels like what I say, you don't trust. And then I'm afraid that if you get out there in the world and I'm really trying to protect you, that something's going to happen to you. And usually when we break it down and we explain it from our root underneath the surface, they're able to get it because it's rooted in emotion. And so these points of emotional intelligence, these points of understanding ourselves and knowing that whatever's happening outside with them, it's not the thing, it's not them, it's a symptom of something. And we have to find a way to connect with them and communicate with them so that they feel safe, they feel supported, and they feel like they belong in some way, shape, or form.